August 4th, 1987, Harlem Hospital, New York City. A woman dressed as a nurse walks through the pediatric ward, carrying a clipboard. She looks professional, confident. Nobody questions her. She enters a room where a 19-day-old baby girl lies in a crib, feverish from an infection. The infant's mother, Joy White, has just stepped out to grab coffee. It's 2:30 in the morning. The hospital is quiet. The woman picks up the baby, wraps her in a blanket, and walks out the front door. Security doesn't stop her. Cameras don't catch her. She simply vanishes with Carlina White. For 23 years, that baby will grow up believing the woman who took her is her mother. She'll have a different name, a different life, a different identity, but deep down, something will always feel wrong. And one day, she'll type a question into Google that will shatter two families and expose one of the most brazen kidnappings in American history. Here's what keeps me up about this case. The kidnapper didn't hide. She raised Carlina in plain sight, in the same city, just miles from the hospital. She got away with it for over 2 decades, not because she was clever, but because the system never looked hard enough. Today, we're unraveling one of the most emotionally complex true crime cases you'll ever hear. We'll trace how a desperate woman walked into a hospital and stole a child, how a young woman's gut instinct led her to question everything she knew, and how the FBI finally closed a case they'd almost given up on. You'll see the investigation's crushing failures, the moment Carlina discovered the truth, and the impossible choice she faced when reality came crashing down. Because this isn't just about a kidnapping. It's about identity, belonging, and what happens when the person you call mom turns out to be the monster who destroyed your family. Let's start with the night that changed everything. Harlem, 1987. Picture this: a vibrant, tight-knit community in New York City, where families look out for each other. Joy White and Carl Tyson are young parents. Joy is 16, Carl is 17. They're not married, still figuring life out, but they're trying. Their baby girl, Carlina Renee White, is born July 15, 1987. She's healthy at first, beautiful. Joy and Carl are exhausted, but happy, navigating parenthood like so many young couples do. But 19 days later, Carlina develops a high fever. Joy panics. She rushes her daughter to Harlem Hospital. The doctors admit Carlina for what they suspect is a bacterial infection. It's serious but treatable. Joy stays by her side, holding her tiny hand, praying she'll be okay. August 4th arrives. It's been a long night. Joy is exhausted, running on fumes. Around 2:30 a.m., she steps out of Carlina's room to get coffee from the vending machine. She's gone maybe 10 minutes. When she comes back, the crib is empty. Her first thought isn't kidnapping, it's confusion. Did a nurse take Carlina for tests? She asks the staff. Nobody knows. They check the nursery. Not there. They check other rooms. Nothing. Joy's confusion turns to panic. She starts screaming. Carl, who'd gone home to rest, gets the call and races back. Hospital security is alerted. Within an hour, police arrive. They interview staff, review visitor logs, search the building. But here's the thing. Harlem Hospital in 1987 doesn't have sophisticated security. No cameras in the hallways, no electronic baby alarms. Visitors walk in and out freely. If someone looks like they belong, nobody asks questions. Witnesses later recall seeing a woman in her 30s or 40s, dressed in a nurse's uniform or scrubs, carrying a baby wrapped in a blanket. She was calm, purposeful. One person remembers her walking through the lobby around 3 a.m. But nobody stopped her. Why would they? She looked like she was supposed to be there. By the time investigators piece this together, she's long gone, vanished into the city of 8 million people. Joy and Carl are devastated. Police launch a search. They canvass the neighborhood, put out alerts, chase leads. The FBI gets involved. Kidnapping is a federal crime, but the trail is ice cold. No clear suspect, no witnesses who can provide a solid description, no security footage. It's like Carlena White was plucked from existence. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months. Joy appears on local news, pleading for her daughter's return. She posts flyers. She works with advocacy groups, but nothing. The case goes cold, not forgotten. Joy and Carl never stop searching, but cold. Investigators have nothing to go on. And in the chaos of New York in the 80s, a missing baby from Harlem doesn't stay headline news for long. But here's the question that gnaws at this case. Who was that woman, and why did she do it? Let me introduce you to Ann Petway. Born in 1954 in Bridgeport, Connecticut, by 1987, she's 33 years old, living in New York City. On the surface, she seems ordinary, a woman trying to get by. But beneath that surface, Ann is struggling with something dark. She's desperate to have a child. She's suffered multiple miscarriages. By some accounts, as many as 5 or 6. Each one devastates her. She wants to be a mother so badly, it consumes her. She tells friends and family she's pregnant, again and again. But she's lying, or maybe she believes it herself, and then loses the pregnancy. Either way, the pattern repeats. By August 1987, she's told people she's pregnant again. She's even thrown herself a baby shower. Friends have given her gifts, clothes, blankets, toys, but there's no baby. And now the due date is approaching. She's cornered. She can't admit the truth. So she decides, if she can't have a baby, she'll take one. Ann Petway walks into Harlem Hospital on August 4th. We don't know if she planned it or if it was impulsive, but she dresses to blend in. Maybe actual scrubs, maybe just clothing that looks official. She walks through the pediatric ward like she belongs, and when she sees an opportunity, a room with a baby, no parents present, she takes it, literally. She picks up Carlina, wraps her up, and leaves, just like that. No elaborate scheme, no accomplices, just desperation, boldness, and a hospital with no security to stop her. She takes Carlina to Bridgeport, Connecticut. She tells everyone the baby is hers. She names her Nejdra Nance. Friends and family are thrilled. They don't question it. Why would they? Ann said she was pregnant, and now, here's a baby. It adds up. And besides, people trust what they see. They don't imagine someone would steal an infant and parade her around as their own. But that's exactly what Ann does. For the first few years, Carlina, now Nejdra, grows up in Connecticut. Ann moves around a lot. Bridgeport, then Atlanta, Georgia, then back to the New York area. She's unstable, financially, emotionally. She works low-wage jobs, struggles with relationships, but she keeps Carlina. She raises her, feeds her, sends her to school. To outsiders, they're just another single mom and daughter trying to make it. Nobody suspects a thing. But here's where the story gets complicated. Ann isn't a monster in the traditional sense. She doesn't physically abuse Carlina. She doesn't lock her in a basement or starve her. By most accounts, she's a functioning, if inconsistent, mother. Carlina later describes their relationship as complicated, sometimes loving, sometimes volatile, and struggles with control, with anger, with her own demons. But she provides. She cares. In her twisted way, she believes Carlina is her daughter. And Carlina, for her part, doesn't know any different. She's Nezdra Nance. Anne is mom. That's her reality. Until it isn't. As Carlina grows into a teenager, something starts to bother her. Little things at first. Anne can never produce a birth certificate. Carlina asks for it for school, for jobs, for identification. Anne makes excuses. Lost it. Never got one. It's complicated. Carlina pushes. Anne deflects. Then there's the physical mismatch. Carlina looks nothing like Anne. Different skin tone, different features. Kids at school notice. They tease her. That's not your real mom. Carlina brushes it off at first. But the seed is planted, and it grows. By the time Carlina is in her late teens, the relationship with Anne is fraying. Carlina is independent, headstrong, asking too many questions. Anne is evasive, sometimes angry. They fight. Carlina gets pregnant herself at 19. She has a daughter, and suddenly, becoming a mother changes everything. She needs documents, social security cards, medical records for herself and her baby. Anne still can't provide a birth certificate. The excuses don't hold up anymore. Carlina's suspicion hardens into certainty. Something is very, very wrong. Around 2010, Carlina does what any young person in the digital age does. She Googles. She types in phrases like missing baby New York and kidnapped infant 1980s. And then she sees it, a photo on the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children website, an age-progressed image of what Carlina White might look like. The girl in the picture looks just like her. Same eyes, same face. She reads the details. Baby kidnapped from Harlem Hospital, August 1987. Carlina does the math. The timing matches. The location matches. Her entire world tilts. She calls the center. She explains her situation. No birth certificate. Suspicious past. A woman who might not be her mother. They take her seriously. They contact the FBI. And suddenly, a case that's been cold for over 20 years is red hot again. The FBI moves quickly. They arrange for DNA testing. Carlina submits a sample. Joy White and Carl Tyson, who never stopped hoping, submit theirs. And then, in January 2011, the results come back. It's a match. Carlina White is alive. Nezdra Nance doesn't exist. The baby stolen from Harlem Hospital 23 years ago has found herself. The news explodes. Carlina White is reunited with Joy and Carl in a moment that's captured by every major media outlet. Photos show them embracing, crying, overwhelmed. Joy has waited 23 years for this. Carl, too, they have their daughter back. It's a miracle, a happy ending, right? But here's the part that makes this case so heartbreaking. It's not that simple. Carlina is thrilled to meet her biological parents. She's relieved to know the truth, but she's also confused, angry, grieving, because the only mother she's ever known, the woman who fed her, raised her, tucked her in at night, is the same person who destroyed her family. How do you process that? How do you reconcile love and betrayal so intertwined you can't separate them? Carlina later says in interviews that she feels torn in half. Part of her is overjoyed to connect with Joy and Carl, to know where she came from, but part of her mourns the loss of the life she thought she had. Nezdra Nance was real to her. That identity, that childhood, those memories, they existed, and now they're built on a lie. It's a grief most people can't fathom. She didn't just gain a family, she lost one too. And Anne Petway, she disappears. again. When the DNA results come back, when the FBI starts looking for her, she's gone. She knows what's coming. For weeks, investigators search. They issue warrants. They track her movements. And finally, in February 2011, Anne walks into an FBI field office in Bridgeport and turns herself in. Just like that. No chase, no standoff. She surrenders. Why? Maybe guilt. Maybe exhaustion. Maybe she knows she can't run forever. In her surrender statement, she tells agents she's sorry for what she did. She admits she took Carlina from the hospital. She says she was desperate, that she wanted a baby so badly she couldn't think straight. But here's what she doesn't do. She doesn't offer a real explanation. No deep dive into her psyche. No reckoning with the pain she caused. Just, I'm sorry. As if that's enough. Anne Petway is charged with kidnapping. The trial is relatively quick. The evidence is overwhelming. DNA, Carlina's testimony, hospital records, decades of deception. In July 2011, Anne pleads guilty. She's sentenced to 12 years in federal prison, 12 years for stealing a baby and raising her under a false identity for 23 years, for robbing Joy and Carl of their daughter's childhood, for saddling Carlina with a lifetime of identity crisis, 12 years. You tell me if that's justice. But let's talk about the system failures, because this case is riddled with them. First, hospital security. Harlem Hospital in 1987 had virtually none. A woman dressed as a nurse could walk in, take a baby, and walk out without anyone stopping her. No alarms, no cameras, no protocols. After Carlina's kidnapping, hospitals nationwide overhauled security, electronic tags on infants, restricted access, surveillance, but that came too late for Joy and Carl. Second, the investigation. The FBI and NYPD did what they could, but the trail went cold fast. No witnesses, no forensics, no leads. And frankly, in the chaos of New York in the 80s, a missing black baby from Harlem didn't get the resources or media attention it deserved. That's uncomfortable to say, but it's true. If this had been a white baby from the Upper East Side, would the response have been different? Probably. Third, Anne Petway's ability to live undetected. She moved around, sure, but she wasn't hiding in the shadows. She worked jobs. She enrolled Carlina in schools. She interacted with social services. How did nobody notice the lack of a birth certificate? How did schools accept enrollment without proper documentation? The cracks Anne slipped through were canyons, and they stayed open for over 2 decades. But here's what doesn't fail. Carlina's instinct, her refusal to accept the lies, her courage to search for the truth, even when it meant losing the only family she knew. That's what broke this case open. Not the FBI, not a tip, not luck. Carlina herself. She solved her own kidnapping. In 2013, Anne Petway is released from prison. She serves 8 years of her 12-year sentence. As of today, she lives quietly somewhere in the U.S., reportedly estranged from Carlina. Carlina, meanwhile, has rebuilt her life. She maintains a relationship with Joy and Carl. Though it's complicated, 23 years is a long gap to bridge. She's a mother herself now. She's spoken publicly about her experience, advocating for missing children and tighter hospital security. She's taken something horrific and tried to make it mean something, but the questions linger. Why did Anne do it? Was it purely desperation for a child? Or was there something darker? A need for control, for validation, for the identity of mother, no matter the cost? We'll never fully know. because Anne hasn't given a complete accounting. She said she's sorry. But sorry doesn't explain 23 years of deception. Sorry doesn't explain the baby shower before the kidnapping, the lies to friends, the systematic erasure of Carlina's true identity. Anne Petway remains a cipher, a woman who committed an unthinkable act and then lived an ordinary life as if nothing happened. And what about Carlina's sense of self? She's spoken about the ongoing struggle. She knows who she is biologically, Carlina White, daughter of Joy and Carl. But emotionally, psychologically, she's still processing. Identity isn't just DNA. It's memories, experiences, relationships. Nadra Nance existed. She lived for 23 years. She can't just be erased. So who is Carlina White? She's figuring that out every day. And that's a burden most of us will never carry. There's also the haunting reality of attachment. Some psychologists who study cases like this, parental kidnappings, where the child is raised by the abductor, note that victims often struggle with conflicted feelings toward their captors. It's not Stockholm Syndrome exactly. It's something more primal. The person who kidnapped you also fed you, comforted you, was your entire world. How do you hate them? How do you love them? Carlina has said she doesn't hate Anne. She pities her. She's angry, yes. Hurt, absolutely. But hate? It's too simple. And that complexity is what makes this case so emotionally devastating. Let's also acknowledge Joy White's journey. For 23 years, she lived in a purgatory most parents can't imagine, not knowing if her daughter was alive, celebrating birthdays for a child who wasn't there, seeing other mothers with their teenagers, and wondering what Carlina would be like. She never gave up. She kept Carlina's case in the public eye. She worked with missing children's organizations. And when Carlina was found, Joy didn't get a fairy tale reunion. She got a grown woman she didn't know, who'd been raised by someone else, who had a whole life Joy wasn't part of. The joy of reunion is real, but so is the grief for what was stolen. Joy lives with both, and Carl Tyson too. He's spoken less publicly, but his pain is evident. A father robbed of watching his daughter grow up, of first steps, first words, first dates, graduation, all of it gone, stolen by a woman who wanted to play house. Carl and Joy tried to make their relationship work after Carlina was taken, but the trauma destroyed them. They split up. The kidnapping didn't just steal a child, it fractured an entire family. Here's the final haunting question. Are there more cases like this? Babies taken from hospitals, raised under false identities, never found? The answer is almost certainly yes. Hospital security before the 1990s was shockingly lax. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children has dozens of unsolved infant abductions from that era. Some may never be solved. Some victims may be living right now, with no idea they were taken. It's a chilling thought. How many Carlinas are out there, living lies, with a nagging feeling something isn't right? But this case also proves something powerful. The truth has a way of surfacing. Carlina could have ignored her instincts. She could have accepted Anne's excuses and moved on, but she didn't. She asked the hard questions. She risked everything. Her relationship with the only mother she knew, her sense of identity, her emotional stability, to find the truth. And she did. That takes a kind of courage most of us will never have to summon. So here we are. Carlina White was stolen from a hospital at 19 days old. She was raised by her kidnapper for 23 years. Under a false name, she discovered the truth herself through sheer determination and Google. The FBI closed a cold case. Anne Petway got 12 years. Carlina got her biological family back, but she also got a lifetime of questions. A fractured identity, a loss she can never fully recover. Is that a happy ending? I don't know. It's an ending, it's resolution. But happy, that's too clean a word for something this messy. In the end, the Carlina White case is a reminder that some crimes don't just steal moments, they steal entire lives. Anne Petway didn't just take a baby, she took Joy's motherhood, Carl's fatherhood, Carlina's identity. She took years that can never be returned, milestones that can never be recreated. And while we can celebrate Carlina's resilience, her reunion, her courage, we can't ignore what was lost, because some things, once broken, stay broken. You can pick up the pieces, you can rebuild, but the cracks remain. Carlina White was stolen, but she found herself, and that's something. If this case left you thinking, really thinking, about identity, family, and what makes us who we are, you're not alone. The Carlina White kidnapping is one of those stories that stays with you, that makes you question how many people are living lives without even knowing it. But don't let the story end here. Subscribe to this channel because we're diving into more cases where the truth was buried for decades. Cases that challenge everything we think we know about justice, identity, and survival. Next up, the case of a woman who discovered her husband was a serial killer and had to decide whether to turn him in or stay silent. Hit that notification bell. Let's keep pulling back the curtain on the cases that haunt us, because some truths need to be told, and some names need to be remembered. Carlina White is one of them.